Hello, everyone. Great to see everyone. I hope you're having a terrific day. We are 1 minute past the start of the show, so give me one more minute for a few people to join. We're currently fixing the setup. We are live on YouTube as of 20 seconds ago, so this should work as well. And I can see viewers there as well. So this seems to work. All right. We are now live and ready to go. Welcome everyone again. I'm Christian. It says Reinhard Porek here for my end, but obviously he is not here today. So I will have the honor to be your host tonight. We have Katrin Fischer from InterTabac Dortmund today with us, and I will start with a short little intro, give you everyone the time to acclimate and to join. We are having the first 15 people live with us, and more to come for sure. So thank you everyone for joining on this beautiful Wednesday evening in Europe or wherever you are. And we're very happy to have Katrin here with us today. She's been part of the trade show team behind the InterTabac. As many of you know, the big fair, the big trade show in Dortmund. She's been with the team for over 15 years. And since the end of 2022, she's been leading the team around all projects. In her role, she's responsible for overseeing measures related to the trade show, such as coordinating services, planning marketing activities, hall layouts, etc. So I guess it's fair to say she is the hearts and the brains of this show. And we're very happy to have you, Katrin. Maybe you can start by sharing a few words, and then we continue in the regular light 'em up lounge style with a few questions and answers.
Yeah, thank you very much. So my introduction couldn't have been better. Happy to be here, and it's really an honor to be a part of your amazing show. And yeah, I think you already introduced me very well, so I'm ready.
Welcome, Katrin.
You are in Dortmund today, and how are these days at the InterTabac? I guess you guys are very busy. What's happening?
Yeah, we are currently somewhere between busy and getting insane, to be honest. So everyone would like to resolve these questions now directly. It's always like Christmas, no one is prepared. So suddenly InterTabac is happening again. And yeah.
Remind us again on what date is it, and what's going to be the setup? How is it organized?
It will take place from 19th to 21st of September. So the countdown is already on. And yeah, the setting, huge. Huge. 11 halls in the meanwhile, and more than 700 exhibitors. So yeah, we are having the full experience.
700 exhibitors?
More than 700, yeah.
Could you go into a few details? What's the split here? Like how many brands are there? What type of companies are we talking?
For sure, as InterTabac is the world's largest trade fair for the entire tobacco products and smoking accessories industry, we have all those different industries on site. So we have, for sure, cigars, cigarettes, NGPs like e-cigarettes, heat not burn, nicotine pouches, everything you can imagine, everything related with tobacco and nicotine. So yeah. But when we are talking about cigars, we have more than 100 exhibitors from this industry.
Amazing. 100 out of 700. Now, InterTabac is a trade show, right? So is it first and foremost for manufacturers of, as you said, cigars and all other products to showcase? And what is it about? And what's your purpose? What's your sort of main goal, your vision for this fair, for this trade show?
In my opinion, it's no longer just a trade show. It's the one-stop shop and the place to be for leading companies, but also for newcomers, top decision makers, trade visitors, and experts from all over the tobacco industry. So yeah, the entire industry can gather its expertise and set the course for the future.
Is that also what distinguishes it, would you say? Because, you know, there's a few trade shows out there. Certainly InterTabac is probably the biggest. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It is. Yeah, we are the largest trade fair, as said, and especially in turbulent times, the personal contact makes all the difference. To shape the future, the industry needs personal dialogue, tangible products, and inspiration, and all that can be found in one place. So guess where? And yeah, luckily we are also keep hearing that we are the only place with such a high density of experts. Overall, InterTabac is not only the first, but also the leading trade fair in the world. And what it makes it special at InterTabac, the products can be felt, tasted, and smoked, or when we're talking about cigars, enjoyed.
Who's number 2 and 3? The others.
In that, right?
Guess yourself.
Industry depends on the industry.
So, a personal question here. Is there any type of product and product category that you look forward to the most? Anything you think is exciting?
In my opinion, every industry has its own advantages and people behind, but yeah, just to be honest, I'm really looking forward to meet all the cigar people again, because it's not only their business, it's their passion and it's their lifestyle. At the end, it is their life, you know?
Yeah. How many cigars do you think you're going to be smoking over the course?
Yeah, I need to stay strong, so I will not smoke any cigars.
True professional. Oh, you know, no time probably, because you can be professional and still smoke cigars, I guess.
I prefer to be there, talk, and to maybe have a small drink, but I'm a non-smoker, and yeah.
So tell me about how the trade show has grown. Obviously, 15 years is what Reinhard wrote down here. Is how long you've been with the show. Is that true? Yeah.
Yep.
How has it grown? And then maybe you can even dive into some of the early days, if you recall.
Yeah, sure. In its 45-year history, the show has undergone a rapid development from a local trade fair to the world's leading center of the tobacco industry. When we look back, the first InterTabac took place in August 1978 with 78 exhibitors on approximately 4,000 square meters of exhibition space and 1,750, let me check that, 1,750 visitors. So originally the trade fair was to take place every 2 years, but due to its great success, it soon became an annual event. The trade fair was initially focused on the German market, but quickly became an international platform for experts from a wide range of countries. So if you can imagine, just 5 years later, the number of visitors had almost doubled, marking the beginning of a success story that would last for decades.
Do you do the show, then I guess there's a lot of things going on after, and then do you start already working on the show for next year, or is there other shows that you got and your company are involved with?
Yeah, for sure. Our company is the Messe Dortmund, and we have lots of own shows during the year. But me and my team, we have 2 different shows. So for sure, InterTabac is our flagship exhibition. No doubts about that. But we are also organizing a smaller show called Evo Next, which is covering only the next generation industries, so only the newer part, if you would like to say so, from InterTabac. And yeah, for sure, we already started to plan the next edition of InterTabac. So
Wild. I mean, that gives you a sense of how big it is truly, and how much preparation goes into that. But as you said, 700 exhibitors is just a huge number. So very, very curious to see the pictures and all the comments, the videos on social. I guess people are going to be very active once it starts.
yeah, sure. And we are very happy that we finally have our own Instagram account, so everybody can join and follow us. Yeah, but the main point is to come over, to have your own experience, to see the show, to taste the products, to be a part of it. And that's really the thing I love the most at InterTabac, to just to be together, to have the exchange when people from all over the world are coming together like a huge family.
So cool. So cool. Now you talked about social media. Obviously, we will find you there now. Any other channels that you can or that you do promote this, or do you leave that to the exhibitors? Because obviously tobacco and promoting it out there is a bit of a tricky topic in many regions out there. So what do you do there, if I may ask?
Yeah, we started for sure with just a normal website, but now we are happy to be on social media, not only on Instagram, but also on LinkedIn. But beside that, we also created a platform called Business Insights, which can also be found on through our website, where all the exhibitors have the chance to create their own company profile to really have this exchange for the entire year. Everyone who's looking for an expert, for a special company, for a special cigar brand, for anything you can imagine, you can just filter the results and check who's there, who can be of interest for you, and which with whom you would like to talk.
Super cool. Super cool. Yeah, I mean, it tells you a lot about the digitalization also of the tobacco industry. You know, we have seen it over the past years and longer that you need to be present on all the socials. So very cool to hear about that. Let's talk about how the cigar sector plays a role of the show. You know, obviously 100 out of 700 cigars manufacturer, I guess, mainly. I mean, I've seen the likes of Boveda, for example. So obviously there's also everything around the cigar, the product itself. Anything in that particular, is that sector getting stronger? Do you see more interest there? Maybe you can elaborate a bit about the cigar sector specifically at the show this year.
I am pretty sure that the fascination with cigars remains unbroken. So even in a changing tobacco industry, this will also be evident at this year's edition of the world's leading trade fair Duo. And as said, the cigar topic is also represented in a variety of ways in the supporting program. So it's no longer just an exhibition, but we have different lectures, masterclasses, tutorials, one blending tutorial organized by Claudius Coy, but also cigar pairings. So we really added more and more to this normal exhibition part to create the full experience and extraordinary events. So really to catch all of the interested visitors and make them a good time in Dortmund.
Awesome. So my head is already racing. My mind is racing on how I would, go through such a day. How would it start? Would you say people come in the morning, they visit the first couple of, probably of their favorite cigars, then there's an immersive experience, like there's probably lunch and whatever. Like how does like a typical day, how could it look like for all of us who can't go maybe because we're in the US or somewhere else? How could it look like?
I think it really depends on the goals you have,
Yeah.
because if you are just interested in finding some new products, maybe if you are a retailer and you are looking for trends or special editions, in my opinion, you can start your day very cozy. Just come to the exhibition in a relaxed way, stroll through the gangways and check out all the booths. But if you are really doing your business, you know, you really have to schedule all meetings for the entire day, because everyone is busy and
Yeah.
really need to fix your time slots.
From the number of visitors, what do you think? How many are sort of like on business, and how many are, you know, aficionados, you know, private there? I guess it's mainly purpose is business, I assume, isn't it?
For sure, yeah, we do have a legitimation process behind that. So not everyone who just likes to smoke cigars can come to our show. You really need to legitimate and to register yourself. You need to upload a proof that you're working in the industry. For sure, we also have different press tickets, but so we can really proudly say that around 98% of the visitors are really legitimated and proved trade visitors working in the industry.
Wow, super interesting. I actually thought it would be more individuals, but obviously if you have an entire process, then you would certainly you know, need to go through that.
Yeah.
The question here, is there a need to prepare upfront?
So I can only recommend to get your ticket in advance. Don't do that to yourself. Don't just come to the exhibition and spend your time at the desk to get your ticket. Yeah, it's much easier to go on our website, get your ticket, load up the legitimation document, and come to our venue ready with your ticket on hand. It really saves time, nerves. Just take the time and have another cigar, but don't spend that at the cash desk.
Gotcha. So you talked about 700 exhibitors. What are some other like fun facts and figures you could share, you know, either from this year's or from some of the last year's trade shows?
Fun facts, yeah, that's a tough question. So, in my opinion, the entire exhibition is a great mixture between fun and business. So you can really have a good time. You can really enjoy the time in Dortmund. And yeah, there were so many things I can talk about, so many experiences I made. I met lots of different people, really different people. So it's not only about the different industries, but also the people in the industries are so different. For sure, we also had international guests, or international star guests like Mike Tyson or Ralph Möller in the past. So unfortunately, this year Mike Tyson cannot come over, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there will be someone else showing up. So stay tuned to that. And yeah, fun facts. I think it's the entire thing behind, just to be with all the people, stay in contact. For me, the best part is to meet the people in person. I'm just in contact via email or via WhatsApp for just 1 year, and then finally someone stands directly in front of you, and then
Yeah. How did you manage the time in the pandemic? I'm sure the InterTabac couldn't take place. Did you do something online? Were you just holding out and like trying and then hoping for this to be over soon? And how did it go after? You know, did you feel like, oh, after this a huge buzz, you know, a lot of people coming, or how was the situation? I'd be curious.
Yeah, during the pandemic, for sure, it was really tough, because we in our business, we are really living from getting people together, So we tried a lot of digital experiences or digital platforms, but at the end, as you know, that's not working for the cigar industry or for the tobacco products industry. You really need to feel and taste and enjoy the products. You need to be together. It's just different, and yeah. So our part was just to hope that it will be over soon. Finally, it was, and yeah, when InterTabac was back, was really with a big bang. So everyone was a little bit hesitating, struggling. How would it be? Will we reach the number of visitors again? Lots of struggling on exhibitor side, but yeah, at the end it was really successful, and from this point on, yeah, still rising. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy times. Every now and then you think back, and obviously the Light 'em Up Lounge is sort of a product from the first hour of the pandemic. We started it since then, and also have been growing since. But digital product, obviously for us, it was easy.
So the Business Insights platform was created especially during this time. Yeah, but luckily we just have it in addition to our show.
Yeah.
So yeah, and during the last years we added more content to it. So you really have the latest news, some facts and figures, movies, podcasts, everything you can imagine. So this is still there. This will remain, and yeah, but we have the show in addition, luckily.
And obviously, one has to say that it's not a given, that a show like this can be there every year. The tobacco industry is under scrutiny, regulatory, anti-smoking, and all sorts of different things happening that make it harder for aficionados to smoke inside. For example, I'm here in Amsterdam. You can't smoke anywhere inside. Reinhard is in Austria. There's limitations everywhere. So how do you see the sort of state of the industry right now? And maybe second question to that, how shall we deal with this? How can we still promote and have this free cigar experience? And yeah, how do you see that?
In my opinion, a positive development of cigar culture and InterTabac can be promoted above all through information and education that is based on facts. So the tobacco industry is in a constant state of flux and is continually evolving in order to fulfill the wishes of consumers and at the same time meet changing demands. This includes in particular the topics of sustainability and health awareness. Although traditional products continue to exist and the premium segment in particular is growing strongly, the tobacco industry is expected to continue to change in the future. This also includes the development of new products. In addition, tobacco companies are already investing in educational initiatives and researches. The trade fair is, in my opinion, the ideal opportunity to exchange ideas and to work together on solutions for this development, but also to continue to offer the classic segment a good stage. On the subject of cigar enjoyment, still need to say enjoy and not smoking. I quote from information provided by the Federal Association of the Cigar Industry, that cigar smokers have a special consumer profile, as we know, and they are clearly pleasure smokers. So yeah, in my opinion, we really need to work on that and to make the difference clear between cigars and some other nicotine products or tobacco products.
Yeah. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. That's that's sort of a discussion that we always have. The difference, right? The product, the craftsmanship, and how it is, just different to other products, and all those things aside. You talked about new products, and obviously so important for Messe Dortmund and for the InterTabac to have a product mix, right? So what's new? What's new this year? And or what are the new sort of categories? I must say, I'm afraid I haven't been to the InterTabac yet. Uh, Ri- that's on Reinhardt, let's say. But so what's new here? Obviously, you said cigars, cigarettes. I've seen Boveda as one of the exhibitors. What are some of the categories and what's new that we could expect?
Related to the cigar part or related to the entire industry?
General, I'd be curious. General, yeah.
Okay, yeah, for sure. One of the big topics are nicotine pouches
Uh-huh.
in Europe. So they are still growing and fastly growing, even if the product isn't regulated all over the same way. So it's a little bit difficult to figure that out for the exhibitors. And another big point still on harm reduction. So in our conference program, we also have different master classes, panel discussions about that, lectures. So for new generation products or potentially risk reduced products, but especially also on harm reduction and everything around that. So we really have those two different fields with the cigar enjoyment and the nicotine or tobacco problem behind, if I'm allowed to say that in that way.
I mean, education is what you said earlier, and I understand that you also see it as part of your role, to be there to be a stage for education. You said harm reduction. So is that where you go through the agenda, you go through the exhibitors every year, and you're like, okay, is this represented? And not just because someone else says, I mean, it's important, and then especially education in the cigar industry is something that we all very much educate for and advocate.
Yeah, sure. For us as organizers, we are searching through the entire year what are the main topics, what are the trends, where are the bigger developments, to really give an overview, and not only for one industry, but for all those industries we are covering. So we really need to check every direction, what's new in the vape segment, what's new for cigars. And yeah, we are also happy to have several very good and professional partners on site who are supporting us with the program.
Is there any category that you haven't covered or that you don't cover because it's just regulatory or it's too hard or
Nope.
not really?
Everything you can imagine. Yeah.
I actually expected that it would be like a long list of like, oh yeah, we would love to invite those guys, but can't do it, because that's typically. But this is great. This is great. So I guess is that mainly because Messe Dortmund, because like Germany, is it you guys pushing for this? Is there any element of that?
That's a little bit complicated. For sure, we are displaying all those different industries, but for sure, we still have to stick to German law. So not all the products are allowed to be shown. Not everyone can display this entire range of products, but for sure, you are still allowed to advertise for it. So sometimes you just have those empty packages at the booths, people explaining their products. Because yeah, we need to fit to the German law and to work together with German customs. But luckily, that's not a problem for the cigar industry.
Understand. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of homework to be done for exhibitors and you guys, especially with new products coming out, to be informed about all of this.
Yeah, really a big range. And yeah, you really need to stay focused to really read all the news for this entire industry and yeah, stay up to date.
Incredible. Yeah, I'm having trouble following everything, and but you guys obviously got a huge team, and you're the pros there. Is there any a specific relation, or should there be a specific relation between products and exhibitors to Germany? Or because you could say InterTabac is international, it's the biggest out there. So it just happens to be in Germany, or does there need to be some sort of relationship to Germany, for example, distribution or?
No. So we are really happy to have those international visitors, to have all those international exhibitors, but for sure we also love our German ones here on site. As that's where we are coming from. That's where InterTabac started, with a German base.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's really big. It's really insane. So many exhibitors, and we are really one huge meeting place. And yeah, that's what I really like.
Speaking about exhibitors and also looking through the list of some of the exhibitors, from your point of view, what does it take to be an exhibitor, to become a visitor? Is it like, let's say, oh, I'm Christian, I'm having a cigar brand, let me just go to InterTabac, the biggest, right away? I guess it's it's a budget question. You got to be informed with all the regulatories, of course, but could you draw a typical vendor or exhibitor profile when it comes to premium cigars? Or is it really oh, I've just started this, to the big brands?
Exactly. So the full range, and yeah, the full level of support from our side. So we really have big and well-known brands with a good and organized team behind. So you really know, okay, that's not the first show. They are used to be an exhibitor. And then you really have all those new small companies just starting their business, and some of them for sure need help on more points, or on totally different points. But we also have really huge companies, well-known brands. You need to support from people, from with 100 questions a day and another email for another email. So you really cannot make one specific picture of an exhibitor. We have really everything.
I mean, that also tells me that, as it's been so long in the business, that it is a successful and viable option also for smaller businesses. Otherwise, probably at some stage you would see that number, drop, or only have big players there. Because I guess, maybe even some of us today in the call, and, especially many people from the Light 'em Up audience, may have contemplated about maybe starting their own business, launching an own brand. And this is certainly promising to hear that you can have exposure at even one of the biggest, if not the biggest, trade show out there.
Sure. So we are really supporting everyone in the industry. We are not some kind of snobby, or we don't need you, you are too small, just we don't need your 12 square meter booth. No, it's exactly the other way around. So for us, all those new and small companies are making a new experience, and every year a new picture of the exhibition. So you really need this mixture. If you just have 50 of the same companies every year, why should I come as a visitor? So especially for the cigar industry, we are supporting those smaller or new companies with our so-called international cigar pavilion, which is a ready to move in booth. So we are building all those all the infrastructure behind. You as an exhibitor just have to come with your products, and maybe with some brochures, and then you are ready. Everything is organized by us. So you have a catering, you have cleaning, you have the furniture, everything you can imagine for a fixed price. So you only have to take care about yourself and about the import.
Speaking about price, can you share a range? Like what does it start? Is that public, or do we need to inquire?
For sure, it is public. So our participation form is still online, and yeah, for this the range is really big because you can start with a 12 square meter just booth space without any equipment, which is around 1,500 euros. So in my opinion, pretty much worth it. But then you have to decide if you go with a systemized booth, which is totally fine for the beginning. But many of the companies directly decide in their second year of participation to build their own booth just to be more represented on site. And so the entire range from a small booth with no equipment up to a big booth with a individual booth building.
Yeah, I can see that, you know, that is certainly a commitment, you know, a sizable commitment, but for a small brand to have that exposure and those thousands of people, you know, going through it and potentially seeing your brand.
Exactly, that's a big chance. So you don't need 1,000 visitors or 10,000 visitors. For you as a small company, you only need 1 or 2 distributors. Then your exhibition is done, then you have the full success behind them. Yeah.
Speaking of success, when you think about last year and maybe you know, you've seen maybe some of the designs or some of the ideas of this year already, what seems to be exciting to show for customers? So for example, you know, I remember from the last PCA, there was some, you know, people showing like the tobacco leaves, for example. It almost felt like, you know, a deep dive into the craftsmanship, you know, not even showing the cigar. Then I guess you could talk about immersive virtual experience. I guess you could talk about, you know, having an expert, you know, having, you know, a brand ambassador. Do you feel or do you see anything that seems to work well, that companies, that brands seem to try and that seems to work for them?
I think even in this point, it's the mixture, because if everyone would just bring their own cigar rollers, you would see the same at every booth. So some of them have their blenders, their master blenders with them. Some of them just are showcasing their products. Some of them are more into explaining their products, but sometimes there is no need to explain them anymore because they are already well known. So in my opinion, that's really different, and there isn't really a specific trend behind. But everything you said, we also have at InterTabac. So we have the blending tutorial, we have the pairing. So you see, we have everything from the raw tobacco up to the ready product.
I mean, if there's 100 cigar exhibitors, you know, you got to come up with something, especially if you're small, you know, maybe not well known. You want to get those eyeballs.
Sometimes it's just you and your product that is convincible enough. So sometimes you don't need the strobo light or the
True, true. I got a question from Christian here about cigar clubs. Do you work with cigar clubs? Do you support them? Are they part of the show in any way?
For sure, there are some people who are so close related to the industry that they are part of our show. But as said, we do have a legitimation process behind, especially in Germany. The smoking topic is a little bit difficult, and we are allowed to smoke inside the hall, so that you really have this experience at InterTabac, and therefore we need to follow some rules and guidelines. You know, we really have to secure that all the visitors are old enough, that they are working in the industry or in a related industry, like hotels or any other lounges, clubs, anything you can imagine where you really have the use of the tobacco products. And so therefore we cannot allow private people to come over.
Understand. I mean, that totally makes sense. I understand that. Now,
and beside that, you cannot buy a single product at InterTabac, so you can only place your order.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Why is that?
It's a trade show, and it's not for the consumer, so it doesn't make sense to buy a single cigar on site.
True. I mean, maybe if I want to try it. Fair enough. Fair enough. So looking ahead, and you talked about the different products that are out there, and people got to be creative, to stand out. When you think in about 3 years or 5 years, what will have changed? Is it hopefully more exhibitors? I mean, I don't know if there's actually space for more, but what would be a few things that you think will may have changed in 3 or 5 years from now?
I think one thing that will not change is the passion behind the cigar industry. So in my opinion, this will still be classy, even in 5 years. So in my opinion, only the other industries are trying to be more in the focus and look at me and look at my product. So in my opinion, the cigar guys don't need that. They have their product and they are convinced, and it's, as said, it's their lifestyle. So the others really need to make more advertising for themselves and for their products, because we also know that some of the newer products are getting regulated, maybe sometimes over-regulated. So you cannot compare with a cigar. It will still be there. So in my opinion, yeah, the newer industries are making the bigger change. And yeah, but for sure we also have, or we will have, more boutique cigars. That would be my personal wish, just to have more of the entire range and the smaller companies, and to give them a platform. And for sure, I love the big brands, but yeah, for me, the smaller ones are really the cherry on the top of the cake,
Speaking about regulations, as you said, some industries, some exhibitors might be under more scrutiny. Everything's in flux. But do you see any major changes on the horizon? Are you guys at all involved in certain let's say organizations, institutions, to also stay up to date, but to also know what's going on? I mean, in the US, you have Cigar Rights of America, of course. You have similar things in Europe. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, for sure. We are involved of some of the associations, but more as a member to follow. So we are not involved in making any rules or plans. We are giving the platform, and we are really happy to also provide space for all those associations during InterTabac, so that they can really meet up, because some of them are quite international, and they do need a meeting place to get all the members together. So we are really happy to support in this part.
Yeah, I understand. Now, a few questions more around cigar industry, if I may, and everyone else, please feel free to join. And if you have any questions, I think we have Katrin here for another 10-15 minutes. So far, I know. And maybe I start by saying the cigar industry has seen an incredible boom post-pandemic. People spend more time at home, had more time to smoke, right? Now, certainly inflation and some countries recession have probably put a bit of a stop to the growth. Still growing, but probably not at the same speed. Is that something that you also did see? Are you also impacted by those certain macroeconomic topics? I would guess so, and right now might not be the easiest times, but you guys are certainly showing the contrary. 700 exhibitors seems like you guys are growing, of course, and no way to stop it.
Yeah, that's not easy to answer, to be honest, as we are providing the platform. The impact is not that big, so we do not feel a direct change in the number of exhibitors when the market changes a little bit, even if it's growing or not growing or struggling. This also takes more than 1 year to see that development behind. And beside that, for sure, even if an industry or market is struggling, you still have players who are just taking the chance to show themselves, to be present, and to find new customers at a trade show. So yeah, that's what we can do for the industry.
From the top of your head, any brands that you think have been the most loyal, the most years, consecutive years at the InterTabac? Let's say cigars only.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I give you 2 or 3 names, the fourth and the fifth will be a little bit mad on me. So yeah, but for sure we have loyal customers and really big and great companies behind that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I can imagine.
or just 1 or 2 names, because that would be unfair for all the others. Yeah.
Fair
But
enough.
if you would like to see who's there, the exhibitor list is already online. So get yourself an idea of the upcoming show, and yeah, the floor plan is also online, so you can see who are the big ones, who's there, who's supporting us, who's loyal, and yeah, we're really happy about that.
Gotcha. Very diplomatic answer here. Everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. Question to the audience here, maybe, and ask for raise of hands. Who has been to InterTabac? Okay, Ray has been. Maze, you have been? Is that it? No, that's a no.
I've been 3 times.
3 times. 3 times as an exhibitioner?
No, as an exhibitioner. Well, I helped some last year on some of the exhibitions, but no as an exhibitioner.
So just as a visitor, hobbyist, you obviously had the right legal documents to come, as we hear.
Yeah. I mean, I'm part of a few different organizations, including Cigar Journal. So yeah, I've got all the documentations and stuff like that. So
Good answer.
Good answer.
Good answer. What comes to mind for you, Ray, if I may ask? What comes to mind when you think about InterTabac? And you've been to PCA and all the others. You know what comes to mind for InterTabac?
I don't know. It's a big show. I mean, people don't realize how big is it. You know, we're all saying it's exhibition. It's a hall. It's not a hall. It's a 6 or 7 halls, or Messe, whatever you call them in German.
11.
Or it's 11 now. Well, I don't go to some of the others. You know, I'm involved in the cigars, so I don't have the time to go around. But you need comfortable shoes. You need a few bottles of water in the morning, and be ready to talk and walk all day.
That is stellar advice right there. Comfortable shoes. I can only imagine.
Now, I mean, forget about all those official style shoes, you know, lacquered, whatever. No. You need very comfy shoes, honestly. This is the biggest advice I can give to everyone. If you go into that kind of show, you're going to walk the hell out of there.
Katrin, are you going to be around? Are you also meeting exhibit, or how does your, obviously, you know, your project lead, right, and you know, part of the leadership of InterTabac, how does your day look like, if I may ask, on those days?
No sleep anymore. Yeah, we are starting around 7 in the morning. So, and then at 10, the doors will be open. So no time for drinking, for eating, no breakfast at the end, but just helping all the exhibitors to be ready when the door opens, when all the visitors come in. And yeah, then for sure we are in contact with everyone. So we are there for our exhibitors if they have any questions, but we are also there for the visitors, for maybe new companies interested in exhibiting, for Everything you can imagine. We are organizing our service company, so the team is not as big as you maybe think. So it's only about 4 people in the core and some others supporting. I need to mention that because they are really supporting us. And yeah, but there was no pause for us. There was no time for big relaxing, for nap, for nothing at the end. But we are really enjoying the time. And yeah, as said, we just want to be in contact with our exhibitors as they are so international that we really need the time to just be there to talk to them and to get to know each other and to show our faces.
The huge growth, of course, right? And 11 floors or halls. How has the concept of the Messe, of the trade show, evolved? Has it always been in its core? You have booths, different sizes, and so, or have you seen the show itself? How you guys do it. Have you seen this change over the 15 years? You've been with it.
Yeah, we are really happy that more and more companies are building their individual booths. So I mentioned it before. Most of the new companies start with a systemized booth, with a package, with a ready package. But yeah, you really see that they are putting all the effort in it to be there, to be visible, to be attractive, and yeah, to have a nice booth and to show the market who they are.
Gotcha.
So this is getting more and more, and everyone really would love to have a nice booth, and that's not typical for all exhibitions. So sometimes you have industries, okay, just be there, just give me that stupid white booth and I don't care because I just want to display my products. No, it's all about the passion and all about the
Gotcha.
being together and the familiar things on site. So, but there's another hand
Question, raise of hands. Maze, welcome. Is that a raise of hands? Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Hey guys, great to see you guys. Katrin, I had a couple of quick questions for you. I think I missed the first few minutes. You might have already answered this. If you did, feel free to just say so. Just wanted to check in the 11 halls that are there and the history. You've been there 15 years. How much? I imagine the whole event every year grows. I'm just trying to think from a cigar perspective specifically, how much have you seen the cigar sector within that grow? Is it growing sort of the same rate as all the others? I mean, things like vaping, we know that sort of come in fairly new. So, but how is the cigar sector grown with the growth of the rest of InterTabac?
Yeah, the cigar industry or the cigar part of InterTabac is still and continuously growing. But for sure, you are totally right. If we compare it to the vape industry, which is a part of InterTabac since, don't let me lie, 2015, I would say, this race is much bigger. So for sure, we started with 1 or 2 vaping companies, and now we have more than 300 at the end. Not only direct vape companies, but companies who are offering product of the vape industry. So yeah, for sure, there the rise is much bigger. But yeah, the core of InterTabac is still the classic part and cigar part, yeah.
And
So we are really putting our effort in. So you don't, I'm not allowed to say that we don't care about winning new vape.
yeah, it's fine. You can reduce the vape numbers.
We have enough of them, so it's
Good.
our part to take care about the rest. Yeah,
I agree. We've got enough vape going on, so that's perfectly. Feel free to start sort of culling the numbers.
I love my vape exhibitors, so don't be mad at me, but yeah, this industry is still growing and they are just joining in. So our part is to keep the balance, and our part therefore is to take care about the cigar industry. Yeah.
Cool. And I guess the final question then is just you look at PCA, you look at InterTabac, very much an industry thing, and it's very much for vendors and suppliers, and creating a space where the manufacturers, they can showcase their new cigars and their new lines and their new blends, which is great. Those in the industry can fly out there every year, have a great time, see the latest and the newest. Then that leaves the rest of us cigar lovers just watching on, seeing the highlights on Instagram and all the great pictures, thinking, wow, can't wait for that cigar to come out. What's your take on something where you've got the smoker, the everyday smoker, getting involved, having access? I don't know. Is there any thoughts? Have you guys looked at that? An extra day where the smoker can come in, or I don't know. Is there any thoughts on that?
For sure, we thought about that, but at the end, it's not that easy in Germany. So I think that's also one of the points at PCA. You really need to be a member. And in Germany, we have this legitimation process behind to make sure that everyone at the exhibition is already involved in the industry. So as you can imagine, we are not allowed to promote smoking. That's the reason why we are not allowed to do that for the public.
Okay.
Not this size, not in that format, not with our concept. So that really needs to be different in Germany.
Gotcha. Okay. And I mean, just from that perspective, just picking up on that, if it's an event where you've got already, you're looking at topics within the cigar industry, what different people are potentially going to be showcasing, isn't the very nature of the show not about smoking per se, but maybe learning and finding out more about the tobacco industry, or is that not going to work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not that easy. So you really have to follow strict rules. You really need to consider a lot. And if you have the focus on people who are already involved, things are getting way easier. So you always have the problem that you support smoking.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. That makes sense. That's great. Thank you so much for that feedback. And I hope you guys have a great show this year.
Thank you.
Actually, I have a great follow-up question, and just got me thinking if being a regular in the Light 'em Up Lounge is any sort of legitimate is making it legitimate. Because if you're part of Cigar Journal and Ray can come.
Yeah, it's all about the press ticket, right?
And to the other, and I loved May's question there about a potential offering, for the end consumers, the people to enjoy it, and then not just limited to cigars, but has there been ideas as the InterTabac has been successful to maybe do spin-offs, and deal with certain legislations to say, oh, let's try, a different event, where. Or is that, as you said, just too hard to in the end execute?
We do have some plans. So
Okay, interesting. And I get where you're coming from, Maze. To me, sometimes also it doesn't feel as accessible, because it seems to me, you gotta be in the business to take the most out of it. But then again, Katrin, from what you said, there's so much on education, and every booth is doing their own theme. So I guess you probably get your money's worth anyway. So if you are press or media or any exhibitors, I think that certainly can make sense to be a visitor in that sense.
Yep, sure. No, we need to stick to our trade visitors for different reasons, and but we do have some ideas in mind, and happy to talk about that maybe.
Lovely.
We will see.
Thank you so much, Katrin. Christian, raise of hand there. Another question from you?
Yes, and hi to everybody, and maybe a really serious question, and I hope you are really honest. I was working in a lot of industry fair trade shows, and at the end of the day, when the doors closes, then usually the party starts. Well, I can only speak for the industry sector, but how does the after show party look like at your trade shows?
Which of those after show parties? So we have lots of them.
No, nothing really. Okay.
Yeah, due to the different industries, we really have different after show parties, different side events. If you look at the vape industry, we have a huge come together also on Wednesday, so the day before the show starts. And since decades, I would say, we have our official get-together evening on the first day of exhibition. And also the Cigar Trophy of Cigar Journal is taking place on this evening. So simultaneously, and afterwards, their guests are joining our evening. We do have another side event just for the snus and nicotine pouch industry on Friday. We do have one for cannabis also on Friday. But for sure, also the big exhibitors, without saying any names, have their own parties at the booths, and so you have all options to join any industry, to join every party you would like to. But that's what we like on our show. So it's really all about being together, partying together, do business together, the exchange, and just to stay in contact.
All right. Sounds good.
You were talking about also pairing themes, and obviously when you talk about parties, you also talk about liquors and spirits. Are they sort of, is that what the exhibitors decide to say, oh, I'm doing a pairing, I got maybe a spirits manufacturer here, or is it purely tobacco and there's no official, let's say, presence by any other outside tobacco product?
No, for sure. When we are talking about tobacco, we also have to talk about spirits. Those things are coming together. It's just a corresponding product. So you cannot talk about the one without talking about the other. And for sure, some of the exhibitors are offering both. It absolutely makes sense to have a special spirit for a special edition of cigars, but who am I telling that? And beside that, we just wanted to give the pairings a bigger platform, because if you have it at the booth, for sure everything is well explained by the exhibitor and you have the perfect match, but the cigar pairings have a different topic. So we have one day for the Dominican Republic, one day for Nicaragua, and one day with a mixed experience of cigars from Mexico and so on. And those are always fully booked. So I think, in my opinion, most of the exhibitors know what they are expecting, and it's a nice experience to join a pairing or tasting. But it's organized with Sierra Madre, which is a partner directly here from North Rhine-Westphalia, and the cigars are from our exhibitors. But if one of the exhibitors really have a specific spirit, which is, I wouldn't say made for his cigars, but which is the perfect match, then he's allowed to bring that also into the pairing.
Understand. You got me thinking about all sorts of exhibitors that may or may have not requested to be part of this, because obviously you look at the cigar aficionados, and there's certainly the expert community, and I would consider the Light 'em Up community to truly be an expert community. And then you probably have the rich and the famous, not to say that we are all rich and famous here, but is there any sort of odd request where you have someone like, I want to showcase my watches, at the internet. Do you have that every now and then, sort of like the outlier requesting space at and can you recall any of those cases?
Watches, not really, but for sure other accessories, so really luxury accessories. And no, I stick to my point. I will not drop any names, but yeah, for sure we have several exhibitors with leather bags, with cigar packs, with everything you can imagine, with knives. So it's really the entire range of everything.
But you wouldn't see cars at the InterTabac.
Everyone would like to bring a car, but only to promote his brand, and luckily not for showing off. No, for sure
Good.
not showing
Good. Very good. Very good. Katrin, it has been a pleasure to have you on the show, and I invite everyone else to join the questions here. Maze, Christian, thank you so much for your questions. I want to be respectful of your time, Katrin. If you have a question to our audience, please feel free. But from my end, this would be sort of it. I appreciate all the answers. We talked so much about the show, the love for cigars, and the platform you guys give to education and enjoyment. This I learned. So thank you so much, and feel free to stay with us. If there's any other questions, guys, please shoot. Unless then we would relieve you for today.
Thank you. So from my side, I don't have any open questions, but I would just love to say if everyone or anyone would stay in contact with us. So we are happy to receive your request on LinkedIn, on Instagram, follow us and join our community. So even if we have 700 exhibitors, we are also caring about the visitors and possible future exhibitors, so don't worry to reach out to us. We will answer. Promise.
Put this this date and show in the subject line, and CC Reinhard, and let's see what happens. Thank you so much, Katrin. It's been a pleasure. I will certainly stay because I have to relight my cigar, and I have a bit of wine left here. So everyone else, feel free to stay. As per usual, Light 'em Up show is always open until the last one leaves. So Katrin, thank you again.
Thank you. I need to leave because I have to organize a show.
Bye, Katrin.
Thanks, Katrin.
Pleasure. Thank you.
I love the questions here, Maze and Chris. Thank you so much. Yeah, the after show, that's a good point. Chris, can you elaborate? What have you seen that I may have not seen in the past that makes you curious about the after shows at InterTabac?
Apparently, they're amazing.
No. I was referring not to InterTabac. I was referring to, the standard big trade shows, fair shows of, for example, industry. There is it common as soon as the door closes. There is always a big company sponsoring an event, bringing in music, bringing in cocktails, and yeah, all the exhibitors have a good time together. And I was hoping for some fun stories, as I assume that in this industry they have maybe more fun than in process automation industry where I am.
Hey, don't say that, who knows?
Yeah. I don't know if she was that honest,
Hey, there seem to be a lot of parties though, and certainly I can imagine that this is a thing, yeah.
Every day another exhibitor spends some money and invite all the other exhibitors. So really cool stuff.
Really well.
But Reinhard, you're not joining?
Oh yeah, actually, I'm Chris. I'm not Reinhard, but
I thought something happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I hijacked Reinhard's account. So I think Reinhard is joining. Yes, I think he is. I will not. But Reinhard is not here today. He's in I guess in Austria, smoking cigars and having drinks. And he said, Christian, please talk to the people. I can't do it. No.
Slacker.
Slacking.
Yeah. Very slack. However, I think it's really, really interesting that with such a small team, they pull off a show with 700 plus exhibitors, and all those regulations. You can't sell the cigar. Sometimes you can't even show it because it's not allowed to be sold. And staying on top of all that, I think that must be such a like walking on eggshells. Is that a saying in English? Walking on eggshells?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Then that's how it felt to me.
Yeah, but do you imagine that all the cigar manufacturers or whoever the representative is, they're going to give cigars away. There's not going to be a problem with that, and so they just it's part of the whole trade show thing. They write it off anyway, so they just give them away. That way they get away from selling them, and they're probably going to smoke them later.
And it's the same at the PCA. At the PCA, when I attend, you're only there to make orders, to purchase orders, and to get samples. If they do, some places have taken away the opportunity to give away samples because some people act like it's trick or treating here in the U.S. They go up and they grab all these handfuls of cigars and go back and again and kind of abuse that. So I've noticed the last couple PCAs, they've actually started limiting more on the samples and actually focusing more on the people that are looking for placing an actual order. And then the after parties, those like especially for the PCA, I can only speak about the PCA that I've attended. I've attended like 6 of them. The after parties are what people are interested in because they can't go as a tradesperson to the actual show. But afterwards, they're in Vegas. When we had it in Vegas, of course, people would go and actually get to mingle and network and, talk about the new cigars that are out, maybe try a couple samples that some of the reps are still able to let people try. And that's when normal everyday cigar smokers can go and actually just enjoy that part of the energy that the trade show kind of emanates.
That's a good shout. I had a question that I only just realized, and maybe somebody else here could answer, and Ray might be able to help us out when he's done sorting out his humongous walk-in humidor. I'm just wondering, so in Europe, when distributors are bringing cigars in, of course, you got to go through a whole registration process and all of that. And I'm just wondering when InterTabac is taking place, and I'm guessing it's the same for PCA, but would they have to, if they've got a cigar that they're just sort of, it's a pre-release or something, like, would they have to go through that whole registration process for InterTabac? Does it have to be, like, how tightly, it would have been a question that I should have asked Katrin, but it'd be good to know whether they still have to go through the whole registration process to bring in those 3 or 4 boxes that they would bring in just for the show, just to hand out. Ray, I don't know if you know this. You're on mute. I was saying, when you're bringing cigars in to Europe, UK, Austria, wherever, as a distributor, you've got to register that cigar, right? You've got to go through a whole process of getting it.
You don't need to. I mean, if you want to bring them to import them and sell them in the country, I need to register them. If you just want to bring them just for your personal stuff or events, you can you need to pay the duty on them.
Okay, cool.
And to the point of the samplers, I know because Reinhard talked to me about this, the entire track and trace makes it really hard to even bring in like samples or limited cigars to those shows or to give them away, because in theory you got to pay tax and customs on all of that stuff. So the industry is certainly figuring out the ways now. So I guess if you would want to give away dozens of cigars as an exhibitor, you would have to let the legislator know about it. So that doesn't make it that easy, I guess.
It's almost like you're paying double, basically.
Yeah, you would pay
to exhibit. You're paying to exhibit, then you're paying the taxes on those cigars that you're bringing in to give away.
And we are still live, Joe?
Yeah. Well, it says we're still live, but I've seen that happen a few times, Joey, and I'm not sure if we are technically live.
Okay, I just saw the live thing in the corner, and we were getting into like regular conversation. So
yeah, I appreciate that. So the live stream on YouTube is ended.